Hey guys, your camera body is the most important tool that you have in photography, and it needs to stay clean. So let's see how I clean the exterior of my camera body.
Click, 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 click and a pick it. Click, 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 click and a pick it. Click, 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 click and a pick it. Click, click, click.
So today your baby's gonna get the loving that she deserves. Now I've had this camera for a couple years now, and I keep it pretty clean. I take really good care of my gear. So this doesn't really need a whole lot, but it still needs some attention. And so it's something you really need to put time into. All right, so what do we have here? We have an old sock. Now, we don't need a Sunday sock or a church sock. Don't use something really nice. This will be used for scrubbing the rubber parts only. All right, and then we have some lens cleaner. You can usually get this at a camera shop or at a eyeglass shop. And then we have our trusty brush, a little soft brush. We have our blower bulb. Blow all those goodies out of the nooks and crannies. We have some lens wipes. And then we have our gentle buds. Gentle buds clean everything small and delicate by Baby Flow. So we have our gentle buds. This will be great for cleaning out those small, hard to reach areas. All right, so that's the basic cleaning kit. All right, so let's get started. All right, so for the first order of business, it would be best to pull your lens off and put on the cap that it came with. Now, believe it or not, I cannot find my cap. I'm looking everywhere for it. So I picked the shortest lens that I have to just stick on there to keep the sensor clean. Now the sensor cleaning will be a different video. So this is just about cleaning the exterior of the camera body. All right. So the first thing that I like to do is get some warm water, some soapy warm water. All right, just very diluted, just a little bit of soap in it. All right, so the first order of business is to blow the bejeebies out of everything. Turn your camera upside down and just kind of blow all the little openings, blow around the dial, blow around all the switches. Just blow everything out. Open up these little doors and blow in there real well. Just make sure that you're real thorough. Cleanliness is like godliness, as they say. Open up your window here. Blow that out too. Blow anywhere dirt can collect. Blow in your viewfinder. All the little buttons. Grime can collect. Make sure they're clean. Alright, even the battery door. Open up the battery door. Hopefully taking your battery out. Blow it out really good. Every time you slide that battery in and out, stuff can kind of slide in here. Now you don't ever want to get anything wet in here. Alright, so let's see what else we got here. I think that's pretty thorough for the blowing end of it. Now, here's something to think about. These rubber parts here, they're glued on. Glued on. So, don't be foolish and take your foamy glass cleaner and spray this body, because what will happen is these rubber parts will absorb whatever you're spraying on there, and it will loosen up the glue behind it. And then your rubber parts will pop off and you'll be like, how come my rubber parts are popping off? Well, because you put stuff on there that should not have been on there. So, all right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Sunday sock here, and I'm just going to dampen it just a little bit. I've got a little solution in here with some mild soap and water, and I'm just going to scrub the rubber parts. So the reason I use this sock is it needs to scrub thoroughly the rubber, and the rubber will hold on to dirt pretty well. So if you're using a little pansy little wipe, it's not going to do a really good job. You need something aggressive. You need a man sock. You don't need a little wipe for this job. You need something strong. So don't be mamby-pamby about it. Dig in there and scrub the rubber parts really good. Use some elbow grease. You'll take it. But don't use cleaners that will soak into the rubber. Don't use STP on your rubber parts. See, you're already getting some black on there. And don't use Armor All, because you'll have the same negative effects. Okay, so let's get into this corner, because this is where the fingers kind of set in here. You just want to be as thorough as you can. So scrub the rubber parts. That's all that this is for, scrubbing the rubbers. Scrub your rubbers, scrub, 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 scrub your rubbers, rub-a-dub-dub. You could sing to yourself because you're dating your camera body. Just imagine you're at a fine spa, and now it's time to show it some love. After all the love it showed you, it's brought you so many happy memories, and it's brought you and the world closer together. The least you could do is sing to it when you clean it. That is the minimum, right? Sing to it. Okay, so it looks like the rubbers are pretty clean. They're not too bad. I don't play in the dirt and then play with my camera. Some people do, but I tend to avoid that because these cameras are not cheap. Alright, so we're just going to use this on the rubber parts. Now the rest of the body we're going to follow up with a wipe, a general wipe first. We're going to make sure we get all the loose stuff off first. So we're going to use our camera lens specified cleaning wipes, and they're slightly moistened. We don't want anything wet on here. These cameras go through enough crap being outside in the elements and trying to fight off all that stuff, so just make sure you get into all the little corners and the crevices. Just be thorough. It's not a rush, it's not a race. You're supposed to enjoy this. Show that camera some love. So we're essentially just cleaning the outside, and if it gets dry, put a little lens cleaner back on there. It will dry up a little bit. Let's see, make sure this one's been opened. Yep, it's been opened. So the nice thing with this lens cleaner is it will somewhat evaporate. It's not gonna stay wet for a long time. Make sure you put the lid back on. Otherwise it will completely evaporate. And it's not a harsh chemical, so you can use it to rub on here pretty well, and it won't rub off your lettering. And that's why I won't use the rough sock, because it'll take off these decals, these imprinted decals, and that would not be good. Because you want this thing to look brand new. You don't want it to look like it's worn out. So take some care in getting the right things to wipe it with, and it'll show you a good experience in the long run. It'll outlast you if you take care of it, really. These cameras are pretty tough. They're made to go the distance, but you gotta use the right things on them. Alright, so we're just kind of doing an overall quick wipe, getting all the big residue off and anything that just might be hanging on there. It's been on there for a while. So that looks pretty good for an overall, just a quickie. Let's flip it over and let's do the screen, and then we're going to go to the Q-tip phase. Like I said, this thing was taken pretty good care of. It wasn't neglected. It wasn't left out in the rain or used after, you know, the mud bog at your buddy's truck races. No, that's not how this one was used. This one was treated pretty well. Alright. And you can use a little bit of pressure with these wipes. They're not abrasive at all. They're not aggressive. So just be thorough. Take your time. Enjoy it. Make it last like that last piece, the last piece of candy that's just about to be eaten, and you won't have another piece for a long time. Okay, so that's the overall rough cleaning of the body. Now let's get our Q-tips and let's do some fine-tune cleaning. Alright, so here's where you're going to use the Q-tip. You're going to take your lens cleaning solution. You're going to moisten one end of the Q-tip. Make sure it's wet. Yep, it's wet. Alright. Now, what I want you to do is open the battery door up again, and don't get this on the contacts. The idea is just to clean the sidewalls of the battery bay, because every time that battery slides in and out, you're sliding in dirt and grime and whatever. So just clean the sides. Just clean any debris that might be on the sides. Don't get it on the contacts. It's not what we're trying to achieve here. So just kind of wipe everything out really good. All the little grooves. Just make it a date night. And take the dry side and wipe the dry side in here. Kind of get all the moisture out of there. You can leave that open, let it dry out really well. Since it is lens cleaning solution, it'll dry up pretty fast. It'll flash off fast. Alright, so we can open these little doors back up here and just kind of Q-tip up these little areas that you can't really wipe at with anything else. Now, I've seen a lot of people's cameras and they're pretty disgusting. And this is like a dream come true, cleaning this camera. And this camera is probably 2.5 years old. And it looks like it's 6 months old. And to me, that's how it should look. If you take care of your gear and you respect it, it should look really good. But then again, if you have a tool and you're using the living heck out of it, like you're out on an assignment or, you know, then you're probably just going to let it run hard. And I understand that too. Alright, so let's put a little more lens cleaning solution on here. I'm going to clean the viewfinder with this one. And then I'll follow up with a dry one. Alright, so we'll just kind of clean in here very gently. It's not made to be treated roughly. And like I said, this will evaporate, so it shouldn't leave any streaks or anything. Alright, now up here there's a little sensor. Let's make sure we clean that good too. I believe that tells the camera that your eye is looking through the viewfinder and it turns this off. So make sure you clean the sensor. And around any little buttons, just run your Q-tip around them. Pretty simple process. But you just want to be kind of thorough. Because the more you put into this, the more you're going to get out of it. And that's essentially what it's all about. Alright, we're just about done. So I guess I could do one last spot. Where the SD card is, I could just broom that out a little bit with this. Like I say, don't get any moisture in here. You're just cleaning up any dust, any light stuff that might be in this area, and that's it. You don't want it wet ever. Just be gentle and careful. All right, so let's just give it one last blow. Blow the lint off. Alright, so that concludes our date night. Our camera body is squeaky clean and it's ready for the next 2.5 years. So if you take really good care of your camera gear and your camera bodies, they shouldn't really look disgustingly dirty unless, like I said, you're on assignment. You're using it out in the field and then it's somewhat unavoidable. But if you're a careful photographer and you're not into tons of grit and grime, it should look relatively nice and it should last a long time. Alright, so if this video has helped you at all, consider throwing me a like and subscribing and we will grow together. Thank you.